Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
Office Bloke Daz.
Together we are the Office Blokes.
We are indeed.
What sort of punishments did they have when you were in school?
Everything.
What didn't they have? Slipper.
Yep.
Was one of the main ones.
Sticks.
Well, I say slipper, it used to be like a plimsoll.
Hmm.
So the music teacher was the worst one.
Strap.
Bend down, whack you with that.
I was used to take a run up.
Yeah. Oh, well, he did, yeah. Our music
Yeah.
teacher did. He was an absolute psycho.
I've been picked up by the nipples.
Yeah. Cane or ruler.
Cane,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
How old were you when you got picked up by the nipples by a teacher?
13.
I think you were a solid.
High school. I've got hit.
That's after hours, that was.
I know, yeah.
I was walking down the corridor and you just grabbed me by the nipples, pushed me against the wall, and just picked me up against the wall like that by the nipples. I was screaming. It's painful. But the other one I had was when a teacher
was within short
a teacher came in the class and I was stood there and he just walked in. I could see him staring at me. And then he just ran at me and he had a pan in his hand and he hit me with the pan, kneed me in the chest and punched me in the head.
That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive.
Scary, mate.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we had like all kinds of stuff. Nothing was. I got hit in the head with a board rubber, and they weren't like they were like wood, big thick wooden thing.
Oh yeah. These
like
like
chalk everywhere.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I had grey hair for about a day.
Yeah.
From the chalk.
They got rid of it long before I was in school.
Well, we had
Being
everything.
able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, do a bit of thingy.
Best one I had, we had a PE teacher and he said, I want you all go out and kick these, pass these rugby balls around, don't kick them. One kid went out and booted it up in the air and just as he left his foot, the teacher ran out, grabbed him, threw him over and punched him in the head about 14 times.
Wow.
Pummeled him. Everyone just stood there just passing the rugby balls still.
It's mind-boggling.
Our school was definitely bad for punishment for the kids.
You think?
It was definitely naughty.
The thing is, when I was in school, although it was outlawed, I may have been taught by teachers who 10, 15 years before had been beating kids.
Yeah.
You know, like to me it was outlawed as a kid, but to them...
One of the teachers at your school actually taught me, believe it or not.
Primary or secondary?
Secondary.
Right, okay.
If you remember a guy called Mr. Shaw.
Yeah?
Maths teacher.
Yeah, I do.
Dave remembers him well.
He actually started at our school. He was learning when he came to our school, then he was there permanent.
How old are you when he taught you then?
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't teach me, but he taught people, he taught the lower sets.
That's why
so he was your teacher then?
That's why I started at our school.
Yeah, but school punishments were bad when I was a kid. Bad.
That's madness.
Yeah, grim.
Let's check it out then. School punishments that went way too far.
In school, teachers have to do something in order to keep classrooms in order. But how much is too much? Whether the student went too far or the teacher was in a bad mood, there are some punishments that go too far.
We had school jail, thinking about it. My first 2 weeks in school, I was in school jail because I went to the bathroom and they give you like a master key to open the bathrooms.
Yeah.
So they give me the key and jokingly I walked out the door and locked everyone in, right? Because he usually locks every door in the school,
Right.
sort of thing. So the teacher had given me his key. So I'd gone out joking, locked the door, sort of thing, started laughing, ran off down the corridor to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
And then as I'm on the way back, one of my mates was there. I was telling him what I'd done. And he went, "That's a great." And he had a key. And he went and locked every classroom. And I went back up, opened ours, carried on, and then I got called in and I had to go to school jail.
Yeah.
And that's 2 weeks because I wouldn't grasp who it was. They thought it was me. So it was like...
when you say school jail, is that just like isolation? Like you've just got to be on your own in a room?
You're in a room. You're in a
Yeah.
room with like, you've got like, it was me. And then like a board, so you couldn't see anyone. Then someone else, and
Yeah,
board, someone else,
right.
all the way down a row like that.
Yeah.
You couldn't see
Yeah.
anyone. The teacher sat in front of us, sort of thing. And we weren't allowed to do anything.
No.
We just had to sit there and do nothing.
Bet there's a lot in there, wasn't it, at your school?
It was about 15 tables in there. Yeah.
Wow. We had isolation, which is similar to that. And if you got your hair cut too short, you're in isolation until your hair grows.
Well,
You're not allowed to be in class with all the other kids. It's madness.
even at lunchtime, we had to go down at a later time than everyone else and have our lunch on our own little table. What do you call them? The small bus table. 15 seats around a 4-seater.
Oh, man.
Monster closet. A pre-kindergarten teacher and her assistant from Houston, Texas lost their jobs after they used the janitor's closet for punishing their 4-year-old students.
What?
They called the closet the monster closet and held the door shut with their feet.
That's
turned the
just
lights
mean.
off, and
That's
told
bad.
the kids that
That's not
monsters
good.
were going to eat them.
Wow. That's
Oh.
mentally
Duffel
challenging,
bag.
that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Duffel bag
9-year-old
on there.
autistic student Christopher Baker was stuffed into a duffel bag with the drawstring held tight as a punishment for misbehaving in class. When Christopher's mother, Sandra Baker, came to school to pick
Must
him
have been a
up,
big bag.
she was horrified to hear her son's voice coming from the bag while a teacher's aide stood and watched.
Jesus, so they left him in there until the mum came to pick him up.
That's bad, that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he's in the bag. I mean,
Must have been one of the massive cricket bags, that.
must have been, must be. Yeah,
It's
he's a
not
bit
just
of
like a
a.
little duffel bag.
What's the first thing you do if you get there to pick your kid up and the teacher goes, he's in that bag?
Oh, they'd be in the bag.
Whack.
Yeah,
That's-
they'd be in the bag.
No questions asked.
You go absolutely mental, wouldn't you? You really
Oh
would.
my God.
Sandra complained to the district, which prompted an investigation. Homophobic humiliation. A first-year principal caught two students fighting, and as punishment, he forced the students to sit in the middle of the quad and hold hands. Students then started insulting the pair, throwing homophobic insults, and overall being terrible. The punishment caused outrage in social media, and parents were calling for the principal's removal.
Yeah.
Paddle.
Unbelievable.
It's the
Wow.
kids that took that to being homophobic though. Like
Yeah.
the head teacher's just gone, because you two have been fighting, you need to sit there and hold hands.
But why hold hands?
It's probably thinking that, you know, the longer you sit there, you're just going to be like, that was stupid, isn't it? And you kind of resolve your differences. It's weird. I'm not justifying it, but
Yeah.
it was the kids that made it homophobic and started having a go.
Yeah,
wasn't
but that's
it?
what you shouldn't even put them on display for the other kids anyway. Really, deal with it in a different way.
Yeah, of course you do.
You
Yeah.
know, I'd rather be battered with a pan and picked up by the nipples and put in a duffel bag. Would you?
Oh well, just a bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
the duffel bag one, that'll scar you for
Size.
life.
Oh,
it
yeah.
would do, wouldn't it?
Terrifying,
That's
that
bright.
wouldn't
And the monster cupboard, man.
Wow.
A mother of a 6-year-old boy in Marshall, Texas, was livid after her son came home from school with bruisings on his bottom. She found out that her son was paddled 3 times by his teacher at Robert E. Lee Elementary School. The boy was paddled for each time he disrupted class, and the number of paddlings increased with each session. Lunch on the floor. In 2008, at Charles Sumner Elementary School in New Jersey, Vice Principal Teresa Brown got angry after a student spilled a water jug on the cafeteria floor and proceeded to force 15 or 16 fifth-grade students to eat their lunch off the floor for 10 days.
Wow.
Parents of 7 of the students sued the school and won a settlement of $500,000. Students who weren't even present for the water spill were forced to eat off the floor when they returned to school.
Jesus.
No braids in class. When 7-year-old Lamia Kamen wouldn't stop playing with her braids in 2009, her teacher had had enough. The teacher called her up to the front of the class and then proceeded to use a pair of classroom scissors to cut off one of the braids. When Lamia's mother confronted the teacher, she was met with half-hearted apologies, and Lamia moved classrooms. The teacher ended up getting suspended without pay. Wrong color shoes. A 5-year-old student was taken out of school and brought home by police because he wore shoes that were the
Oh
wrong
my
color.
God.
Come off
His
it.
family couldn't afford a pair of black
Wow.
shoes, so his mother colored a pair of red and white shoes black in order to cover up the decoration. Some of the ink must have come off because apparently wearing the wrong color shoes is worthy of calling the cops.
That's
bizarre.
pathetic.
Strip
Unbelievable.
searched.
Wow.
In 2003, a 13-year-old student named Savannah Redding was put through a strip search after a student accused her of carrying prescription-strength ibuprofen, which was the equivalent of 2 Advils. School officials searched her backpack but weren't satisfied. They then sent her to the nurse's office and put her through a strip search, making her take her bra off and checked under the elastic of her underwear, all the while without informing her parents. Needless to say, Savannah's parents took the case to court.
Some wild ones
Outrageous.
there, isn't they?
Did she have
Yeah.
Fred the Weatherman as a teacher or something?
These are nothing compared to what we went through. I'd rather take a beating any day of the week, wouldn't you, than
Yeah,
some of
these
these?
are bizarre, some of these, aren't they?
It makes you question why some people go into teaching, if that's how you handle kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're not cut out for it. It's not the profession for
It's
you.
like something from like maybe the 1900s or something, isn't it? It probably wasn't even as bad then.
No.
Some of these are absolutely bizarre.
What gets me about some of these as well? Some of them like in 2008, so it's not that long ago.
That's what I mean,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fairly modern times, isn't it,
Yeah.
really? So, unbelievable.
Drawing on faces. 4th grade teacher Summer Larson found herself in hot water after she allowed students to write on the faces of students who
Ah.
failed to meet their reading goals. Larson's original intent was
So I don't mean to laugh because it's cruel, but it's just that picture. It caught me off guard a little bit. It's like he'd fall asleep at a party.
Oh, yeah.
He failed,
Yeah.
he failed to meet their reading goals, so rather than help them, humiliate them into...
I know, it's
know.
bizarre. Why would you
Yeah,
do it?
well, it's other kids that are writing on their faces. It's twisted. It's very
it is.
twisted. It's just that picture. It
This
just
is
reminds me.
psychopath
Yeah.
behaviour, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
to write on the faces of students who had failed to meet their reading goals. Larson's original intent was to give an incentive for students to meet their reading goals. If a student failed, they could either skip recess or allow their peers to write on their faces. 6 of the 9 students apparently didn't want to miss recess.
Of course they don't.
Jailed for missing school. In 2012, an 11th grade student named Diana Tran was an honor student, going to school full-time and working 2 jobs in order to support her siblings. One sibling was in college and the other was younger. Diane's busy schedule caused her to miss 11 days of school in 6 months, and Texas state law requires a maximum of 10 unexcused absences in a span of 6 months. The 11th absence caused Diane Tran to be jailed for 24 hours and be charged with a misdemeanor.
That's
the judge
disgraceful.
soon
Yeah.
dropped the charges.
That is absolutely disgraceful. That,
Of course
isn't
it is.
Where's the compassion?
And you've got to look at the evidence there, haven't you? Say if she's working to support siblings and stuff like that, then it's for a reason, a good
Yeah.
reason, isn't it?
Because my kids are grown up and not at school now. If anything like this happened, I'd go berserk. I'd go
Yeah,
absolute radio, me.
Crazy, wouldn't you?
But it's,
Really.
my son was telling me that he got called into school the other day because he's got his little daughter. She's only about just over 1, it's about 1 and 2 months or whatever, so like
Yeah.
14 months old. And when she goes into nursery, she's pushed another kid. Right, so this is 12. They don't even know, just learning how to walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But she's pushed a kid. Well, I don't think you know how to push deliberately at that age.
No.
Pretty much.
No.
You know what I mean?
Not
So they're
that
having
age.
a word with him, and Declan said, "What do you want me to do?" He's like, just shrugged his shoulders and went, "All right."
It's kids, aren't they?
Yeah.
At that age, you ain't cut them off it.
But they have to be so like, I don't know, whether their kid sort of like tipped over and cried or
They probably have to be PC in case it bumps
There's a
in case it's got a
bruise or-
bruise. So they say, well,
Yeah.
we've looked into it, investigated. It wasn't a teacher. It was
Yeah.
another one of the kids.
Yeah.
We'll call the parents in.
But they're just over 1. You know what I mean? It's just,
I know, yeah. I mean,
I'll
in days
have
gone
a
by,
word
speak.
In
when
days
she
gone-
learns how to speak.
yeah.
yeah, in days gone by, if they called in and say, listen, there's a kid pushed him over, so he's got a bit of bruising now, you'd say, right, whatever, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And just take it as read and,
My dad didn't even know what school I went to.
The teachers at my kids' school, and I think this is procedure, they just fill a little form in, like an accident form, and then when you go and pick them up, they say, whichever one's had an accident, here's the little piece of paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just shows what they've done. And it's nothing. It's just like a little. It's
good,
just
it's
ticking
good to
a
keep
box.
a record, especially
Yeah.
in this day and age when all kinds of accusations
definitely,
get
of
thrown
course it is.
around for
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
To know. But yeah, it's just goes a bit too far.
get
doesn't
the
it?
correct
that's
ones, calling the
ridiculous.
parents
Yeah,
in
it
for
is.
stuff like
Yeah.
that when the kids have accidents, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, come
But
on.
that was pathetic. That going to jail.
Yeah,
absolutely
back out
pathetic.
of order.
I hope she sued and got a lot of money for
So
that.
do I.
Bubble gun. In 2013, a 5-year-old kindergarten student from Pennsylvania was accused of making terrorist threats after she threatened to shoot a classmate
What?
with her Hello Kitty bubble gun. A school official heard the threat and went through the girl's backpack and found out that she didn't have a deadly gun. The girl received a 10-day suspension, which prompted her parents to hire an attorney and meet with the school. The suspension was reduced to 2 days. Suspended for a haircut. In 2012, a 12-year-old middle schooler named Patrick Gonzalez was suspended after he had his hair cut with a portrait of NBA player Matt Bonner on the back of his head.
Pretty good, actually.
Patrick's mother cleared the haircut of the Spurs player with the school's first, but then Patrick was suspended until he had his head shaved, citing that the haircut was a distraction. When the Spurs heard about the incident, they gave Patrick free tickets to the playoffs.
That's it.
Do you have any ridiculous stories?
They're crazy, but at the
Wow.
same time, I think having ginger hair was more of a distraction than having Matt Bonner put on the back of your
And
head.
a main reason to get banned from school.
That ginger kid's had a funky haircut. Should we ban him now?
yeah, I've got an excuse.
If that's distracting on the back of his head, sit him at the back of the classroom.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's just. But the problem you've got with that though, it causes a trend.
Yeah,
So
you
all
do,
of a sudden, everyone's getting their haircuts in daft styles and stuff like that. It looks a bit.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
on school?
you have to
school
have
wannabe.
rules. I understand that, and for us, it was no shorter than the number 2 on the back and sides.
And if the rules are there before you go there, then you know the rules, don't you? So I get if you do break the rules, then
Yeah.
you have got certain things got to be in place for kids
Yeah,
at
it's-
schools because it's a lots of control. And
Well, they want to, especially over here. I mean, everyone has to wear a uniform. You know, there's no casual days or anything like that. So they
Yeah.
have the odd one casual days for charities where they have to take money in and dress up, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But most kids have school uniforms.
I kind of
Yeah.
agree with uniforms. I
Same.
think it's a good idea,
Yeah.
personally.
yeah.
It gives a bit of discipline for later on in life. And
But all kids are the same as well, aren't
Yeah.
they? Otherwise,
Correct.
you can get kids going in with like designer gear and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that some of the other kids feel a bit left out. So everyone's just the same,
Yeah.
aren't they? And
You still
I
get
do
it.
agree with that.
You get it with shoes and coats and stuff.
Well,
the
school
designer
shoes.
gears.
We
Yeah.
had that issue with the school shoes. So the school issued a list of approved shoes, right? So we bought a pair of shoes off that approved list that was on there. And when Aidan wore them to school, he said, "You can't come in with them again." And I went, "It's on the approved list." He went, "That list has changed." And I went, "No, it hasn't. You can't issue a final list and then change it."
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
I
better
said,
give
"He's
me
wearing
the
them."
money back.
I
for
said,
the
"He's
shoes
wearing
then."
them. Otherwise, you buy him a new pair off the approved list." End of.
Yeah.
And he went, "You can't wear them again, otherwise you'll be suspended." I went, "You'll be suspended."
Oh, you will.
And someone walked past with another pair. Went, "Have you had a word with him?"
Oh,
He
your
went,
grass.
And he went, "No, but we will be doing." I went, "No, you won't." And someone said, "I've had mine on all year," and no one said
Yeah.
a word.
Wow.
So they were singling him out a little bit.
Yeah.
For whatever I don't know what he'd done at school for him to get,
Yeah.
But the other time Aiden had a fight with his mate, right? It wasn't a fight, he just went a bit far with goofing with each other. Best mates, hung out with each other all day, every day, right? Got him in, bollocked them both, and then suspended them both, but sent them both home on the same bus. Because for violence.
Yeah.
And I went, so you just send them out on their own, together.
Yeah. How old?
15, 16.
Yeah.
Bizarre, innit?
yeah.
Absolutely bizarre. If they thought it was that bad, they'd keep them apart, wouldn't they?
Exactly.
So
yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
And I went in and had a word, and I went, what did what's going on?
Yeah.
But you call some of the teachers out sometimes. He had with Declan, I don't want to go on about it, but a school punishment with Declan, where he went in a class and it was Arabic, and they were learning Arabic, and Declan wasn't interested, so he was disturbing the class. He was making fun jokes and all sort of thing, so he got suspended for it. So I said, but yesterday I came into the swimming lesson to observe. I said, and the Arabic kids were running around whipping each other with the towels. I said, have they been suspended because they were disrupting that class?
Yeah.
When it's different, I went, no, it isn't. So why is it different?
Disruption is disruption.
And he went, I see where you're going with this. And I went, go on then. I said, so deal with it one way or another.
Yeah, be consistent.
Yeah. But they wouldn't speak to the Arabic kids because their parents were a more hierarchy.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, what they did then, unsuspended Declan. I'm like, you're a joke. Clowns. Yeah.
I got suspended for fighting and for selling fireworks once as well, which I was supposed to get expelled for, but it just kind of got brushed under the carpet somehow. Yeah. But I knew a guy that got suspended, and essentially you're suspended for like 2 days or a week or whatever, but your parents have to come in and have a sit-down meeting with the school for you to be allowed back in. And a guy that I went to school with, his parents just went, nah, not coming back in. And he had 6 months off school because they just refused to come in for the meeting.
Yeah.
Eventually they did, and he started again, but they just couldn't be arsed.
But that Texas law they had on there, where they were keeping him out of school for so many days, it's kind of going that way over here, isn't it? If you keep your kid out of school in school days, you get a massive fine.
Yeah.
Well, the parents do.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the issue is with holidays, isn't it? Because holidays are cheaper out of summer holidays, out of school holidays.
School holidays.
They're a lot cheaper, so a lot more parents are doing it, especially with cost of living crisis. People want to go away, but they want to go at a cheaper time, and obviously they're not supposed to do that, are they? So sometimes it's cheaper just to take a fine.
Yeah.
I worked it out. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head though, but for both of my kids to be off for a week during term time, the fine would have been something like 140 quid, all in.
Yeah.
And it's like if you're spending $3,000 on a holiday that would otherwise be $6,000 at half term,
well
it's well worth it, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, I book my holidays when the kids are at school, hoping that all kids will be still at school.
Yeah.
And not the parents bringing the kids out when I don't want kids around me.
Fair.
Yeah, it's the best time to do it.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.